Chosen one. Listen closely. Heaven has paused for you. The unseen realm has drawn its breath, because this exact moment is not ordinary. You are not hearing these words by chance. You are here because your journey has been seen. Your endurance has been weighed. And the verdict is now declared. You have passed the test. Picture the courtroom of heaven. The scrolls are opened. Angels stand as witnesses. And the eternal judge reviews the record of your life. Every silent prayer. Every sleepless night. Every moment when your knees bent to the ground, though your heart felt crushed, it has all been recorded. And now the gavel has struck. You endured. You refused to abandon faith. Your name has been announced as one who remained faithful until the end. Not everyone finishes the race. Some grew tired and quit midway. But you, though bruised, though scarred, kept walking. Imagine a runner crawling on hands and knees, dirt on their face, sweat dripping, yet never leaving the track. That is you. Others may not understand why you kept going, but heaven sees it as victory. Think of a soldier returning from the battlefield. His shield is cracked, his sword chipped, his armor dented. He looks far from polished, but his eyes are steady, lifted toward his king. That soldier is you. What the world sees as weakness, heaven recognizes as proof of loyalty. It is written in the first book of Samuel, chapter 12, verse 24. But be sure to fear the Lord, and serve him faithfully with all your heart. Consider the great things he has done for you. This is what has marked your journey. Even when it hurt, you chose to serve. Even when others mocked, you kept your heart aligned with the one who called you. That choice did not go unnoticed. Let me tell you about one chosen one. Let's call her Ruth. For years, she worked quietly, serving others, waiting for her own breakthrough. Her peers mocked her. Why waste your years believing? Why serve a God who seems silent? Yet Ruth did not waver. She continued planting seeds of faith. She whispered prayers into the night. She endured loneliness with tears only heaven saw. Then, one ordinary morning, the breakthrough came. A door that had been locked for years suddenly swung wide. The opportunity she thought had passed her by was waiting for her. The promise had not died. It had only been delayed until the appointed time. So it is with you. The silence was not abandonment. It was preparation. The delay was not denial. It was timing. What you thought was lost is being restored, multiplied, and crowned with glory. The treasure chest of promises is opening, and your name is engraved upon it. But let me say this clearly. This moment is not simply about blessing. It is about identity. You were never designed to blend into the crowd. Your journey was harder because your assignment is greater. The crushing you endured was the process that shaped you into a vessel able to carry the weight of glory about to be revealed. Imagine a crown hidden under a velvet cloth on a royal table. It has sat there for years, untouched, waiting for the right moment. Today, the cloth is being lifted, the crown is revealed, and it belongs to you, chosen one. Do not doubt what heaven has already proclaimed. You have passed the test. The wilderness was training ground. The silence was sharpening. The rejection was preparation for recognition. And now, the season shifts. If these words strike your spirit, let your response be a prophetic seal. Type the number 777 inches the comments as a declaration that you step into your inheritance. And share this message. Let others hear what heaven is releasing in this hour. Subscribe as well, so that your spirit stays connected to the stream of revelation flowing from above. Lift your head. You have passed the test. The trumpet of heaven is sounding your victory. Step forward. The crown is waiting. Chosen one. Pause and let this truth sink deeply into your spirit. You are not the same person who entered the valley of testing. You have been refined, purified, and strengthened by fire. What once broke you has now become the very testimony that sets you apart. Do not shrink back. Stand tall. The seal of heaven is upon you, and your name is echoed in the courts above. And now, as you walk into this next chapter, go with courage. Share this word so others may awaken to their own destiny. Like, subscribe, and comment 777 as a prophetic sign of agreement. This is more than a message. It is a decree from heaven that your reward has already begun to unfold. Chosen one. Every hidden struggle has been counted. Nothing was wasted. Not even the tears you shed in silence when no one stood beside you. In the secret place where you thought you were forgotten, heaven was watching. Every sigh, every moment of heaviness, every unanswered question was placed into a divine ledger, weighed not as weakness, but as evidence of endurance. There were nights you pressed your face into the pillow, whispering prayers, so faint they barely left your lips. You asked, "Does anyone see? Does anyone care?" And though no human hand reached to wipe your tears, the unseen hand of the Father caught each drop as treasure. The writings of David remind us in the Psalms, chapter 126, verse 5. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Think of a farmer in ancient days, carrying a bag of seed. He walks into a barren field, the soil hard and cracked. Each seed he casts looks like a loss, disappearing into dirt. To the unknowing eye, it seems foolish. Yet he continues, season after season. Then comes the rain, the hidden breaking beneath the ground, and suddenly the field that once looked dead bursts into life. That farmer is you. Those tears you cried were seeds, and heaven has guaranteed that your harvest is certain. There was a woman named Esther, not the queen from the scriptures, but a modern-day woman who lived a quiet life of hardship. She raised her children alone, worked 2 jobs, and endured rejection from those she once trusted. Every night she prayed not for riches, but for strength to continue. She often felt unseen, like her life would never matter. But one day, her story began to shift. A scholarship fund unexpectedly covered her child's entire education. Later, a community she had served quietly for years gathered to honor her sacrifices. What seemed hidden was revealed as valuable. Her hidden pain became a testimony that inspired many. In the same way, your unseen sacrifices will speak louder than words when the time of revealing comes. The secret hours of obedience, when you could have chosen bitterness but chose prayer instead, were all observed. The world may only measure what is visible, but God weighs the hidden motives, the silent decisions, the private battles, and He declares them as gold refined in the fire. There were moments you wondered if your suffering had meaning, but what you endured has built a depth in you that cannot be faked. Like a diamond formed under pressure, Your life is a testament of value hidden beneath weight. To others, you may have looked ordinary, even broken, but in the unseen you were being shaped into a vessel of rare beauty. Chosen one. Do you not see? Heaven measures differently than earth. Here on earth, people measure by applause, by achievement, by visible reward. But heaven measures by faithfulness, and you have been faithful even when you felt fragile. You kept holding on when it would have been easier to let go. That is why every hidden struggle counts. It is the evidence of your loyalty to the one who called you. Imagine a library in heaven filled with scrolls. On each scroll, your story is written. Every time you prayed in pain, a line was added. Every time you forgave when it cut deep, a line was recorded. Every time you chose humility when pride would have been easier, another line was marked. And now, as the scrolls are opened, your endurance shines from page to page. You may not have understood why your road was lonelier, why your nights were darker, why your battles felt heavier. But now you can see the truth. It was never for nothing. You were being trained, strengthened, and prepared for a glory that could only be entrusted to those who endure. Like Joseph, thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery, and forgotten in prison, he could have believed the lies that his life was wasted. Yet every moment of rejection was counted as part of the divine plan. When the time came, Joseph stood not as a victim, but as a ruler, because his hidden suffering had shaped him into a man who could carry destiny without being destroyed by it. So, it will be with you. The years of obscurity will not be remembered as punishment, but as preparation. The people who overlooked you will one day witness the fullness of what you were carrying all along. Chosen one. Let these words take root in you. Nothing is wasted. Every hidden struggle has been counted in heaven's books. Your tears were seeds. Your pain was shaping. And your faithfulness was the test. The harvest of joy is not a question of if, it is a matter of when. And now, heaven whispers, the time is near. Chosen one. You know what the most difficult test has been? The silence, not the storms, not the rejection, not even the betrayal, but the long seasons when heaven seemed to be quiet, when you prayed and the answer did not come, when you fasted but heard no whisper, when you waited day after day, wondering if you had been forgotten. Those silent seasons were not abandonment. They were the proving ground of your faith. When God seems far, He is actually the closest, watching to see if you love Him for who He is, not only for what He gives. It was in the silence that your roots went deeper. The Spirit once spoke through the prophet Habakkuk. Chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. This is why the silence mattered. The delay was not denial, it was timing. The seed of promise could not sprout before its appointed hour. If it had come too early, it might have destroyed you. But in the stillness, you were stretched, refined, and hidden until you could carry the fullness of what was promised. Let me give you an image. Think of a seed in the dark soil. Days pass, then weeks, with no sign of change. Above the ground, nothing looks alive, but underground, roots are forming, pushing deeper, drinking water, preparing for growth. If you judged only by the surface, You would call it dead, but life is already at work. Unseen. That seed is you. The silence was not death, it was development. There was once a young man, let's call him Elijah, not the prophet of old, but a chosen one in our time. For 2 years he prayed for direction. He wanted clarity about his calling, but every day seemed the same. Work, sleep, repeat. Friends mocked him for wasting time, waiting on God. Yet Elijah refused to stop seeking. One night, in the middle of his prayer, a thought dropped into his spirit with a weight he could not deny. Prepare, for your door is near. Within weeks, he was invited into a mission he never imagined, a position of influence he had not applied for. The silence had been the training. When the door opened, he was ready. You may feel the same, that your silence has stretched too long. But do not misinterpret heaven's stillness. The silence was the classroom where you learned trust, where you discovered that God's absence is never real absence, only hidden presence. Now hear me carefully. Your silence is ending. The test of silence is being marked as complete. Heaven has watched your perseverance. The scroll of your endurance is sealed. And now, the voice that once felt hidden is about to roar like thunder over your life. Chosen one, this is the moment to declare what silence could not erase. In the comments, type, "My faith remains." These 3 words are more than affirmation. They are a banner raised over your journey. By writing them, you are proclaiming that delay did not destroy you, that unanswered prayers did not silence you, and that the quiet nights only deepened your trust. It is an act of spiritual warfare. Your statement becomes both a testimony and a weapon. Darkness sees it and trembles, because what was meant to break you has only strengthened you. The silence has shaped you, but it has not destroyed you. The waiting has stretched you, but it has not broken you. And now the appointed time approaches, like the seed breaking the soil. Your moment of revealing is near. You will see with your eyes what you once only believed in your heart. Chosen one, let your spirit rise with this truth. The silence was never empty. It was pregnant with promise. And now the sound of heaven is beginning to stir. Chosen one, do you understand why this matters so deeply? Because silence was never a sign of rejection. It was the evidence of God's trust in you. He trusted that even without visible answers, you would cling to his unseen hand. That is the mark of the chosen, to love him when no gift is in sight. Your declaration, "My faith remains," is not only for today. It is a seed you are planting into tomorrow. Each time you repeat it, you remind your spirit that what you carry is stronger than disappointment, stronger than delay, stronger than silence itself. And now, as the heavens stir, your endurance becomes the doorway to fulfillment. The silence is breaking. The answer is rising. The season of hiddenness is turning into the season of revealing. Chosen one. There were seasons when the sound of mockery surrounded you. People laughed at your devotion, whispered behind your back, and questioned why you kept believing. Some said you were wasting your time. Others mocked your sacrifices, your prayers, your refusal to bend to the patterns of the world. Yet every word of ridicule became fuel for your endurance. Every voice raised against you only confirmed the weight of your calling. You were walking the road of Noah. Think of him, hammer in hand, building an ark in a land where no rain had ever fallen. Neighbors passed by, shaking their heads, calling him a fool. To them, His obedience looked insane. But obedience is often misunderstood until the day it is vindicated. The same pattern has unfolded in your life, mocked now, but soon to be proven right. There is a verse that shines over this very truth, written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 23. The fear of the Lord leads to life, then one rests content, untouched by trouble. This is the anchor that kept you steady. While others mocked, you feared the Lord. While they chased approval, you chased obedience. That is why you are still standing. Let me tell you the story of a man named Samuel, not the prophet of the scriptures, but a chosen one in our generation. Samuel worked in an environment where dishonesty was common. He refused to bend, even when it cost him promotions. Colleagues whispered, calling him too rigid, too spiritual, even naive. Yet Samuel never compromised. He would rather be mocked than betray his convictions. Years later, when corruption was exposed, Samuel's integrity positioned him for leadership. The same voices that mocked him were forced to acknowledge his strength. His obedience became his shield. This has been your story too. Those who mocked you thought they were wounding you, but in truth, they were shaping the stage for your vindication. Their laughter did not weaken your spirit, it refined it, like fire hardening clay. The mockery pressed you into greater resolve. Chosen one. Remember, mockery is often a sign that you are building something greater than what others can see. When people cannot understand your vision, they often ridicule it. When they cannot control your obedience, they try to belittle it. Yet the very things they despised will become the reason they marvel. Think of David before Goliath. His own brothers mocked him, asking why he even showed up to the battlefield. To them, David was nothing but a shepherd boy. Yet within moments, the same boy they ridiculed became the warrior who defeated a giant. Your ridicule has the same purpose. It is the prelude to your victory. Do you remember those moments when you questioned if their words were right? When you wondered if perhaps you were foolish? If perhaps obedience had cost you too much? Yet here you are, still standing, still chosen, still marked by heaven. Their laughter did not define you. God's seal did. Even in the mocking, there was a hidden gift. Because every time you endured their voices, you grew immune to the need for human approval. What once might have swayed you could no longer shake you. Their rejection cut off the last threads tying you to the crowd. And in doing so, it secured your identity as set apart. Chosen one. You must see your journey for what it truly is. Every mocking word was a hammer shaping the crown that is now waiting for you. Every ridicule was a chisel, removing the excess so your destiny could take form. What was meant to belittle you was used to build you. And soon, as surely as the rains came in Noah's day, the proof of your obedience will arrive. Those who mocked will see what you were building. They may never admit it aloud, but in their hearts, they will know. You were right to trust, right to wait, right to obey. You were never wasting time. You were never foolish. You were chosen. They mocked because they could not see what you carried. Their vision was bound to the present moment, but your obedience was tied to eternity. What they laughed at was not weakness, it was a mystery they could not comprehend. And one day, their memory of ridicule will turn into silent awe. They will see the fruit of your endurance, and though their lips may never confess it, their hearts will know the truth. Heaven always had its hand upon you. So lift your head, chosen one. Let the mockery fall away like dust. You are not defined by their laughter. You are defined by the seal of God. Chosen one. The enemy underestimated you. He thought you would break under the weight of trials. He thought betrayal would crush your heart. Silence would suffocate your hope. And rejection would rob you of faith. But what he miscalculated was the resilience of someone sealed by heaven. Instead of being destroyed, you rose. Instead of losing your light, you became brighter. The darkness underestimated what you carried. The enemy did not see the hidden strength inside of you. He only saw your wounds. But he did not see your worship. He only saw your tears. But he did not hear your prayers. He only saw the night. But he could not perceive the dawn that was already rising. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." And this is why the enemy was wrong about you. He thought your troubles would bury you. But instead, they became the soil where eternal glory began to grow. He thought your pain would be your end. But it became your beginning. Picture the phoenix burned in the flames, turned to ashes. Yet from the ashes rises a creature more radiant than before. That is the story of your life. You are not standing in defeat, you are standing in resurrection. Every fiery trial became the forge of your destiny. Let me share the story of a woman named Leah, not the Leah of Genesis, but one living today. She lost her job. Her closest friend betrayed her, and her health declined, all in the same year. It felt like her world was ending. Yet instead of collapsing, Leah turned deeper into prayer. She journaled her tears, read the scriptures until they became her daily bread, and sang worship songs through nights of exhaustion. Months later, when new opportunities appeared, she walked into them with a strength she never knew she had. Her breakthrough was not just about the new job or restored health, it was the new identity she carried. The fire had not consumed her, it had revealed her. So it is with you. The fire you walked through was never meant to finish you, it was meant to refine you. The ashes were never your grave, they were your rebirth. Now listen, chosen one. Heaven is about to display your resilience as testimony. Those who doubted you will watch in silence as your life shines, not because you fought in your own strength, but because you trusted the one who fought for you. And here is the mystery. Even your scars are becoming part of the glory. Scars are proof you were wounded, but they are also proof you survived. They tell the world, the fire touched me, but it did not consume me. The storm hit me, but it did not drown me. I am still here. Chosen one. I want you to imagine this moment like a candle being lit in the dark. At first, the flame is small, flickering, almost fragile. But soon, another candle touches its fire, and then another, until the whole room is ablaze. That is what happens when you share your light. Let your agreement be like a song in a vast hall. Press like not as an obligation, but as the echo of your spirit saying, yes, this is my testimony too. Oh, and remain near the flame. Subscribe not as routine, but as if you were choosing to sit by a great fire with family, keeping warm together, unwilling to drift away from its glow. These small acts are not mechanical, they are symbolic. They are the outward signs of an inward truth, that you are alive, that you are chosen, and that you are part of a story much greater than your own. The enemy underestimated you, but heaven always knew, and now your testimony will be a light no darkness can extinguish. Even now, the ashes of yesterday are no longer marks of defeat, but soil for tomorrow's harvest. You were not burned up, you were reborn, like gold purified in the furnace. Your value has only increased because of the fire. What the enemy thought would end you has become the very evidence of your survival. When you lift your head, scars shining in the light, you are testifying without words. Every mark on you tells a story. I endured. I am still here. I will not be moved. Heaven rejoices over that kind of strength, because it is rare, because it is holy. So, walk forward, chosen one. Carry your fire. Spread your flame. Let your story be a torch that others will see and follow. For your light was born in the very place darkness tried to bury you. Chosen one. Can you sense it? The moment of unlocking is here. For so long, the door looked sealed. The promise out of reach. The key nowhere to be found. Yet even as you waited, heaven was preparing the precise instant when everything would shift. Now, the sound of a turning key echoes in the spirit. The lock that resisted you for years is moving, and the door of inheritance is opening. The prophet Hosea once declared, chapter 2, verse 15, "There I will give her back her vineyards, and will make the valley of Achor a door of hope. There she will respond, as in the days of her youth, as in the day she came up out of Egypt." Do you see the imagery? A valley of trouble transforming into a doorway of hope. What once seemed like endless wilderness now becomes the threshold of destiny. The place where you cried the hardest is the same place where the door of reward swings open. Think of a great vault. On the outside, it looks impenetrable steel. Bolts. Darkness within. You have stood before it, knocking, praying, waiting, but hidden deep inside heaven's timing. The combination was always written. Every prayer, every tear, every act of faith turned the dial closer to the right sequence. Now, the final click resounds. The vault is opening, and what was once locked away is being released. I remember the story of a man named Elias. For years he carried a dream in his heart, but every time he tried to move forward, the way was blocked. Opportunities fell through. Friends betrayed him. Even his own strength seemed to fail. He almost believed the dream had died. But in one season, after years of silence, doors began to open without his effort. Contracts he never pursued came to him. People he once prayed for began to seek him out. Elias realized that the delay had not been punishment, it had been preparation. And when the key finally turned, everything accelerated in a way no human hand could have arranged. Chosen one. Your story carries the same truth. The locked door was never denial, it was divine timing, and timing is now shifting in your favor. But hear me clearly, unlocking is not only about receiving, it is about stepping. A door may be open, but if you refuse to move through it, you remain in the hallway. Heaven has declared the door of hope before you. Now you must be willing to cross the threshold. This is where faith moves from endurance into action. Picture a bride standing before the door of her new home. She holds the key in her hand. She has dreamed of this day, prepared for this moment, dressed for the occasion. But if she does not step across the threshold, She will never inhabit what belongs to her. Chosen one, you are that bride. The door is not just open, it is calling you to enter. The unlocking is not small, it is generational. What has been withheld from your family line is now being restored. Inheritances that were stolen, dreams that were crushed, blessings that seemed lost, they are being handed to you because you endured. You will not only walk through this door, you will carry others through behind you. And here is your prophetic act for this moment. In the comments, type the number 444, not as a casual gesture, but as a declaration. I step into the door of hope prepared for me. 4 is the number of foundation, stability, and establishment. By writing it, you are symbolically declaring that the unlocked door will not just open for a moment, it will establish your new season permanently. When you write 444, you are marking the ground in the spirit. You are saying, "This is my threshold, and I will not miss it. I will not stay outside. I will walk through." It is not just a number, it is a prophetic seal. Chosen one. The key has turned. The sound has been heard. The door is open. This is your moment to step into reward, to embrace inheritance, to enter the place long prepared for you. The time of waiting at the locked gate is over. The doorway of hope is before you walk through it boldly. Do not fear the unknown as you cross this threshold. The open door may feel unfamiliar, but it is not unsafe. Heaven would never unlock what you are not ready to walk through. This is why the testing was long, so the weight of inheritance will not crush you, but crown you. Chosen one. Step forward with courage. The door does not stay open forever. Every moment of endurance has led to this unveiling. Do not hesitate now, embrace it fully. For this is the reward you have been prepared to carry. Chosen one. The crown has always been waiting for you. Before you were born, before your first cry was heard, before you endured even a single trial, heaven had already designed your crown of glory. It was not placed randomly, it was fashioned with intention. Every jewel represents a battle won. Every curve reflects a story of endurance. Every shine testifies of grace. Imagine a throne room draped in silence. Upon a table, a crown rests beneath a covering of velvet. It waits, untouched, while generations rise and fall. Angels pass by, but do not lift it, for it is not theirs to touch. It bears your name, inscribed from eternity, and only at the appointed time may it be revealed. That appointed time draws near. The Apostle Paul spoke of such a reward in his second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. And this crown is not merely an ornament, it is identity fulfilled, destiny revealed, honor sealed. To wear it is to step into who you truly are, chosen, set apart, entrusted with eternal weight. Consider the story of Deborah, a woman in Scripture who carried the wisdom and authority of a judge. At first, she was overlooked in a culture dominated by men. Many doubted her voice, resisted her leadership, questioned her calling. But when the time came, all Israel recognized the authority placed upon her. Her crown was invisible, yet undeniable. That is the way of heaven. Crowns exist before they are placed on the head. And you, too, have been carrying an invisible crown, waiting for the moment it becomes visible. Think also of modern stories. There was a man named Jonah, not the prophet of the Old Testament, but a teacher in our time. He spent years pouring into students, never recognized, never praised. Many considered his work insignificant, but years later, those same students grew into leaders who changed communities. When Jonah retired, the community gathered to honor him. They presented him with an award. But more than that, they declared with tears that he had shaped their lives. His hidden crown had been on his head all along. The ceremony simply made it known. Chosen one, your life is marked by such a crown. Every time you resisted bitterness, a jewel was set. Every time you chose faith over fear, the gold was refined. Every time you loved when it would have been easier to hate, the crown grew brighter. You may not see it yet, but heaven already does. The crown is not simply a reward, it is also a mantle. It means responsibility, authority, stewardship. Crowns are not given for decoration, they are given for dominion. To be crowned means to carry influence, to walk in a weight of glory that impacts others. You will not wear it for your own boasting, but as a sign that others may find their courage in your story. This is why the trials were heavy, because crowns are heavy. A flimsy path could never prepare you for the weight of such honor, but the furnace shaped you, the wilderness trained you, the silence deepened you. Now you are ready to carry what once would have crushed you. Picture yourself walking into the throne room. The velvet is pulled back, the crown is lifted, and the righteous judge places it upon your head. It fits perfectly, because it was made for you alone. In that moment, you will realize every rejection, every tear, every lonely night was not in vain. It all pointed to this, your moment of recognition. But even now, before the crown is revealed, you must walk as one who is crowned. Do not wait for others to acknowledge what heaven has already decreed. Carry yourself with the dignity of one marked by eternity. Speak with the wisdom of one entrusted with destiny. Live with the boldness of one whose name is already inscribed in glory. Chosen one, never forget, the crown is not far from you. It has always been near. Hidden yet prepared, waiting for the unveiling. The king does not forget his promise. The righteous judge does not lose track of his reward. The day is coming when you will not only know it in faith, but feel it upon your head. Chosen one. The wilderness was never meant to be your grave. It was your training ground, the place where your strength was tested, your faith refined, and your voice forged. Every dry season, every unanswered prayer, every long night in the desert of waiting was part of the preparation. You were not wandering aimlessly, you were being led with purpose. Think of Israel's journey after leaving Egypt. They were free from chains, yet not yet in the land of promise. The wilderness stood between to the natural eye. It looked like delay, but in truth, it was development. It was in the wilderness that manna fell from heaven. It was there water poured from a rock. It was there the voice of God thundered from Mount Sinai. The desert, though barren, was filled with divine revelation. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 2, reminds us, "Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness, these 40 years, to humble and test you, in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commands. This is why your wilderness mattered. It was not punishment, it was proof. It revealed what was in your heart. And it proved your loyalty when comfort was stripped away. Anyone can worship when surrounded by blessings, but only the chosen worship when the desert winds howl. There was a woman named Miriam in our time, not the sister of Moses, but a daughter of faith. She longed for a family of her own. Years passed with no child, and the wilderness of waiting stretched longer than she imagined. Friends pitied her. Some even mocked her, telling her to give up hope. Yet she kept serving, kept praying, kept trusting. In her wilderness, she discovered a depth of relationship with God she had never known before. When at last she adopted a child, her joy was not only in the child itself, but in the God who had sustained her in the waiting. The wilderness had not robbed her, it had prepared her to love deeper, to parent with compassion, born of struggle. Chosen one, your story carries the same rhythm. The wilderness seasons you have walked through were not empty. They taught you resilience. They taught you how to live without applause, how to pray without answers, how to trust without evidence. They stripped away false dependencies and made you rely on the only one who never fails. Consider the imagery of a tree planted in desert soil. At first, the conditions seem impossible: scorching heat, little water, rocky ground. But the roots of that tree are forced to dig deeper than those in fertile fields. They search until they find hidden streams below the surface. When storms come, the shallow-rooted trees are ripped apart. But the desert tree stands firm. That is you. Your roots have gone deep because of the wilderness. And when the time comes to step into your promised land, you will not enter as a fragile wanderer, but as a seasoned warrior. Israel did not leave the wilderness empty-handed. They left with songs, with stories, with covenant, with an identity as God's chosen people. In the same way, you will not leave your desert without reward. You will carry treasures of wisdom, endurance, and faith that could never have been forged in comfort. The wilderness also exposed what could not remain with you. Just as Israel left behind idols and old patterns, your desert stripped away what was unworthy of your destiny. The people who walked away, the opportunities that crumbled, the habits that were broken, all of these were not loss. They were cleansing. The desert was making sure nothing unfit would cross into your promise. Chosen one. The wilderness was hard, yes, but it was holy. It was the classroom of the Spirit, the forge of your character, the silence where your faith grew strong. And now, just as Israel stepped across the Jordan, you too are stepping out. Do not despise the years that felt wasted. They were not wasted, they were weighty with purpose. Every sunrise in the desert was heaven whispering, "Hold on, you are closer than you think." And now, the landscape before you changes. The wilderness fades, and the horizon glimmers with promise. The land of abundance calls, and you are ready because the wilderness prepared you. Step forward. Chosen one. The sand beneath your feet has carried you far enough. The horizon of promise now stretches wide before you, flowing with life, flowing with abundance. Do not look back at the wilderness with regret. Look forward with gratitude, for it has made you strong enough to inherit what is coming. Chosen one. Your name is written in fire. Heaven has not only whispered your identity, it has engraved it, sealed it, set it ablaze for eternity. You are not hidden in the registry of men, but inscribed upon the scrolls of the King of Kings. Angels see it. Demons fear it. Creation itself recognizes it. You are marked, chosen, unshakable. Imagine a night sky filled with darkness. Then suddenly, across the horizon, letters appear, burning in flame, illuminating the whole expanse. That is what your name looks like in the unseen realm. It is not written in ink that can fade, nor carved in stone that can erode, but in fire that cannot be quenched. The writings of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 16, proclaim this truth. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are ever before me. Your identity is not fragile. It is not dependent on what others call you. It is not shaped by rejection or diminished by slander. It is etched into God's own being. He has inscribed you on his hands. Every time he moves, he remembers you. Every time he reaches, he carries your name. Let me tell you of someone named Caleb, a modern-day chosen one. For years, people labeled him ordinary, average, unremarkable. He believed those voices until the day he encountered a prophetic word declaring, "You are not overlooked, you are engraved." That single revelation transformed him. He began to walk differently, speak differently, dream differently. Later, the same people who dismissed him were astonished by the boldness he carried. The truth was never that Caleb became extraordinary. It was that he finally believed what heaven had always written. Chosen one, you too must believe. You are not defined by the temporary names given by others. You are defined by the eternal name written in fire. Even when you faltered, even when you doubted, even when you wandered, your name did not vanish from his hands. You remained chosen. Think of branding iron pressed into metal. The mark is not surface deep. It becomes part of the very material. That is how permanent your inscription is in the heavenly record. Nothing can erase it. No enemy can blot it out. No season of failure can undo it. You are sealed. And here is where I ask you to respond. In the comments, type, "Mark me, Lord," 3 words, but they carry eternal weight. By writing them, you are declaring your willingness to live as one branded by heaven's fire, set apart, unmistakably chosen. This is not only affirmation, it is alignment. When you type it, you are telling God, "I refuse to live by the labels of men. I accept only what you have written." Oh, understand the power of such a declaration. It silences the voice of shame. It rejects the false identities spoken over you. It affirms that your destiny is not written in pencil but in flame. When you declare, "Mark me, Lord," you are standing in the truth that has been true from the beginning. You are his. Chosen one. Lift your spirit now. Walk as one whose name is already known in heaven. Carry yourself with the dignity of one who is sealed. You are not forgotten. You are not misplaced. You are not random. You are engraved, inscribed, written in fire. And when the crown rests upon your head, when the doors open before you, when the reward manifests in your hands, you will know it was never the approval of men that defined you. It was always the fire of God's inscription. Chosen one. This inscription of fire is not only a record of who you are, it is also a banner of what you carry. Fire does not remain hidden. It spreads. It illuminates. It transforms whatever it touches. That is why your identity has weight in the spirit. Every time you step into a room, the atmosphere shifts. Not because of your outward appearance, but because of the unseen mark upon you. Heaven's fire declares, "This one belongs to me." No. And this is why the enemy trembles. He cannot erase what has been written, so he tries to distract you from believing it. He whispers lies, hoping you will live as if your name is small, forgotten, insignificant. But when you stand tall in the truth that you are engraved upon the palms of God, his schemes collapse. You no longer live chasing validation. You live carrying confirmation. The fire upon your name is not just survival, it is destiny made visible. And now, the world will see what heaven has already declared. Chosen one. There is a mystery unfolding before you now, the mystery of the double portion. What was lost is not merely being returned, it is being multiplied. Every tear, every moment of delay, every season of seeming waste is becoming the seedbed for restoration that comes not in equal measure, but in overflowing abundance. Do you remember Job? Stripped of wealth, family, and even health. He sat in the dust while friends accused him and his wife urged him to curse God. Yet he refused to let go of his faith. And in the end, his story turned. His latter days became greater than his former. What was lost was restored, double. That is the principle now hovering over your life. Your ashes will become beauty, and your empty places will become overflowing. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 7, declare this eternal promise. Instead of your shame, you will receive double. Instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in inheritance. Everlasting joy will be yours. Chosen one, take this to heart. What you thought was gone forever is returning in multiplied form. The years the locust consumed, the relationships that were broken, the dreams that were delayed, all of these are being rewritten in double portion grace. Picture a field after a storm. The winds have flattened crops. The rain has beaten down the soil, and it looks as if nothing can be salvaged. Yet when the season turns, the farmer sows again, and because the soil has been broken, it receives seed more deeply. When the harvest comes, it is greater than before. The storm was not the end, it was the preparation for abundance. I once heard of a man named Joseph, not the patriarch, but a father in our time. He lost his business in an economic collapse, and for years he worked menial jobs to survive. Many thought he was finished, but Joseph never stopped sowing kindness. He volunteered in his community, encouraged others, and kept his faith alive. Years later, unexpectedly, he was offered a position to lead a company twice the size of the one he had lost. His income doubled. His influence expanded, and his story became a testimony. His loss had not destroyed him, it had prepared him for the double portion. Chosen one, your journey is about to echo the same rhythm. Do not measure your future by what you see now. Measure it by the God who restores in double. And let me speak to your heart with imagery you can feel. Imagine a choir gathered in a great cathedral. One voice alone may sound fragile, but when others join, the sound swells into beauty that shakes the very walls. That is what happens when you add your voice to this message. When you like, it is not just a click, it is your note joining the chorus, making the testimony louder. Think of a torch passed in the dark. When you share, you are not losing your flame, you are multiplying the fire so others can see. One torch may light a small path, but many torches together can illuminate an entire mountain. And when you subscribe, do not see it as pressing a button. See it as taking your seat in the circle around the fire. Others are already gathered, and there is warmth. There is community. There is family. To subscribe is to say, I choose to stay near the flame, not to wander back into the cold. Oh, these actions are not obligations, they are invitations. Invitations to turn testimony into chorus, to turn light into wildfire, to turn moments into movement. And the beauty is this: when you add your flame, your note, your presence, the double portion is not only for you, it spreads to those around you. Chosen one, the double portion is upon you. The door is opening wider than you imagined, and the restoration will outshine the loss. Do not despise the storm that broke you, for it was. Do not fear that what was lost will define you, for heaven does not measure your worth by your scars, but by your survival. Every wound has become a window where light now shines more brightly. The double portion is not only about restoration, it is about revealing the strength forged within you. Chosen one, when the new comes, do not compare it to the old. What you receive will not simply replace what was taken, it will surpass it. The glory of your latter days will carry a weight your former days could never hold. So lift your eyes with expectation. Walk forward with gratitude. Your double portion is not delayed, it is unfolding, even now, step by step, moment by moment. Soon, your testimony will become undeniable proof that the God who allowed the storm is also the God who multiplies the harvest. Chosen one, the tables are turning. What was once against you will soon be for you. The story is shifting. The script is being rewritten, and where you once sat in the shadows, you will now be brought into the light. Do not mistake this moment as coincidence. It is divine orchestration. The very hands that once tried to hold you down will be forced to watch as you rise. The psalmist declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And this is not only a poetic promise, it is a prophetic reality. To be seated at a table prepared by the Lord is to be placed in a position no enemy can remove you from. The table is not simply for eating, it is for witnessing. Your enemies will see what heaven is serving you, and they will not be able to touch it. Think of Joseph once again, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and forgotten in prison. His enemies thought the story was over. But when the tables turned, Joseph was seated as ruler of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh, and the same brothers who betrayed him had to come and bow before him. The very ones who had mocked his dreams were forced to acknowledge their fulfillment. Your journey echoes this same truth. Those who dismissed you will one day realize you were chosen all along. Those who spoke against you will see you seated in a place of honor. The table is being set, not in secret, but in full view of those who thought you would never arrive. There was a woman named Hannah in Scripture, tormented by Peninnah for her barrenness, year after year. Peninnah mocked her. making her sorrow heavier. But when God remembered Hannah, her story shifted. She bore Samuel, a prophet who would anoint kings. The tables turned. The one who was mocked became the mother of legacy. The one who was ridiculed became remembered. So it will be with you. The season of mockery will be silenced by manifestation. The voices that belittled you will fall silent, not because you retaliated, but because heaven has vindicated you. Imagine a chessboard. For so long, it seemed as if you were losing pieces removed. Your king threatened, your moves limited. But suddenly, one move shifts the entire game. The player who thought they had you cornered realizes too late. The tables have turned. That is what heaven is doing in your life. One move, one shift, one divine reversal, and the game changes forever. Chosen one. This reversal is not merely about personal victory. It is also about testimony. When the tables turn, others will know that it was God, not man, who lifted you. They will see the oil upon your head and the overflowing cup at your table. They will know it was never your strength, but His faithfulness. And what is a table without oil? The anointing comes not only to elevate you, but to sustain you. The oil poured on your head represents consecration, separation, empowerment. To be seated at the table is one thing, but to have your head anointed is another. It means you will not only sit, you will reign. You will not only be fed, you will overflow. There was once a man named Daniel, taken captive, thrown into a foreign land, threatened by lions and mocked by rulers. Yet his story did not end in disgrace. Instead, he was exalted above governors, entrusted with influence, and recognized for the Spirit of God within him. The tables turned not through compromise, but through unshakable faith. Chosen one. Your story is being positioned for the same turn. The time of humiliation is shifting into honor. The time of rejection is shifting into recognition. The time of lack is shifting into overflow. The table is not empty, it is filled. The oil is not withheld, it is poured. And when you look back, you will see that every tear, every battle, every silence prepared you for this seat. The reversal is not random, it is reward. Do not despise the years when the table looked bare, for it was in those seasons that hunger sharpened your spirit. Without the famine, you would not value the feast. Without the valley, you would not recognize the mountain. Now, as the table is set before you, let your heart rest. You do not need to fight for your seat. It has been reserved. No enemy hand can pull back the chair that heaven assigned to you. Chosen one. Sit with confidence. Eat with gratitude. Drink with joy. The reversal is here, and it is permanent. Chosen one. Heaven's messengers are moving even now. Angels are not far-off ideas. They are active servants of the Most High, dispatched to minister to those who will inherit salvation. And in this season, they are releasing what has long been withheld, your inheritance. Blessings stored up for you, and even for your bloodline, are being loosed. What seemed locked for generations is now opening. The writer of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 14, asks this profound question: Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation? Yes, they are, and they are serving you now. The inheritance written in your heavenly record is not a vague hope. It is a concrete reality. promises spoken over your life, treasures hidden for the right season, and assignments waiting for release are all part of your portion. Picture a royal courier riding swiftly through the night, carrying a sealed letter. That letter is addressed to you. The seal cannot be broken by any enemy hand. It is reserved for your eyes alone. When the courier arrives, what was hidden becomes known. That is what angels are doing now, delivering what was sealed, making manifest what was promised. There is a story of a family line marked by poverty. For generations, they lived with lack, always just enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. Yet one woman in that line began to pray boldly, "Lord, break this cycle." She endured hardship, but she clung to faith. Years later, her children stepped into opportunities she never saw. Doors opened in education, in provision, in influence. Her inheritance was not only for herself, but for her descendants. The angels of God had moved, releasing what was blocked for years. Chosen one, your obedience has triggered the same movement. What you prayed for may bless not only you, but also those who come after you. The inheritance you receive is generational. Your endurance has unlocked treasures for your children, for your family, for those who walk the path behind you. Think of a river held back by a dam. For years, the water collects, pressing against the barrier. To the natural eye, it seems nothing is happening, but the pressure grows until the dam can no longer hold it. Suddenly, the barrier breaks, and the water rushes forth with unstoppable force. That is what is happening now. The inheritance stored up is breaking through, and it will not trickle, it will flood. But inheritance also carries responsibility. With treasure comes stewardship. With blessing comes discernment. You cannot allow careless hands to touch what heaven entrusts to you. This is why the wilderness shaped you, why the silence trained you, so that now, as the angels release your portion, you will guard it with wisdom. Chosen one, respond to this prophetic moment with a seal of faith. In the comments, type the number 999, not as a ritual, but as a declaration. 9 is the number of finality and completion. When it is tripled, 999 symbolizes the fullness of cycles ending, the sealing of old chapters, and the divine announcement that something new has already begun. By writing it, you are declaring, "I stand at the end of my waiting season, and I step into the completed inheritance heaven has prepared for me." And this number is not superstition, it is revelation. It means you are acknowledging that what was incomplete has been finished. What was delayed has been delivered. And what was once withheld is now released. Just as the 9th hour in Scripture marked the moment Jesus declared, "It is finished," so 999 becomes your prophetic echo. It is finished, and the inheritance is mine. Understand this. Angels move where faith is active. They respond to the word, to obedience, to trust. Your declaration is a sign of agreement that you are ready for what heaven is bringing. And as you align, the release accelerates. Chosen one, inheritance is not a far-off dream. It is here. It is being carried by angels, written in scrolls, sealed with fire, and delivered to you in this very season. Lift your spirit and know what your ancestors longed for but did not see. You will carry What was stolen will be returned. What was delayed will now be accelerated. The river is breaking. The treasures are being handed down. The angels are moving. And your inheritance is being placed in your hands. Chosen one. When you type 999, you are not just writing numbers, you are proclaiming alignment with heaven's timing. The 999 declares, the old chapter has closed completely. The labor has produced fruit. And the waiting is over. It is the seal of fulfillment, the sign that your inheritance is now active. Chosen one. You have carried light that cannot be explained by natural terms. This is why your journey has been filled with resistance. The darkness has always recognized your fire, even when you doubted it yourself. The struggles you faced were never random attacks. They were targeted attempts to extinguish what heaven had planted inside you. And yet, the flame still burns. Scripture speaks through the prophet Nahum. Chapter 1, verse 7. The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. This care is not fragile comfort. It is the sustaining presence that kept your light alive through storms. Others may have fallen when the winds grew fierce, but you endured. Why? Because the flame you carry is not your own. It was breathed into you by God himself. Think of the bush Moses saw in the wilderness, burning but never consumed. It was a fire that did not depend on the bush for fuel. That is what your life has been like. You have felt the flames of testing, yet you were not consumed. The reason is simple. The fire you carry is eternal. There was once a woman named Serena, a quiet figure in her town. Life had not been easy. She suffered illness, betrayal, and seasons of poverty. Yet whenever people met her, they walked away lighter. She spoke words of peace. She prayed with conviction, and she carried a smile that seemed to cut through gloom. Her light was not loud, yet it shifted atmospheres. People said, when she enters, something changes. Serena herself thought she was weak, but in truth, she bore a fire that darkness could not touch. Chosen one. You may not see it in yourself, but others feel it. Your light unsettles lees. Your presence confronts despair. Your words pierce through heaviness. Even in silence, you radiate a truth that the world cannot manufacture. This is why battles came. The enemy hoped you would hide your flame, bury it, or doubt it. But light, once kindled by heaven, cannot be buried forever. Picture a lantern carried through a cave. The walls are jagged, shadows stretch deep, and silence fills the space. Yet with one spark, the entire atmosphere shifts. That lantern is you. The cave is this world. Every step you take, every word you release, carries illumination into places others thought hopeless. And do not believe the lie that your light is small. Light does not compete with darkness, it replaces it. A single candle can transform an entire room, and the fire you carry is no candle, it is a torch. It was not given for survival, but for disruption. Your flame was placed in you to terrify shadows, to ignite others, to declare that darkness does not have the final word. Think of Gideon again. When he and his men surrounded the Midianite camp, they broke jars, raised torches, and blew trumpets. The enemy fled, terrified by the light. That story echoes your life. What seemed like fragile vessels, your weakness, your scars have become carriers of powerful fire. And when your light shines, Darkness flees in confusion. Chosen one. Recognize this. Your endurance was not just about making it through. It was about proving that your fire is unquenchable. Every storm, every night, every battle was an attempt to silence it. But here you are, still burning, brighter than before. Do not shrink from your flame. Do not apologize for your glow. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. The fire inside you is not for your sake alone, but for those who wander in darkness. They will find their way because of your shine. Lift your head and walk as the torchbearer you are. The world is darker now than ever, which means your light is needed now more than ever. This fire is your inheritance, your mantle, your testimony, and no shadow can prevail against it. Chosen one. The flame burns on. Your flame is not fragile, it is forged. Every tear, every trial, every silence became fuel that strengthened its glow. That is why, even when you thought you were fading, you discovered a steadier fire within you. The light you carry has been proven, and proven light cannot be extinguished. Chosen one. Walk boldly with this awareness. You are not a flicker trying to survive the night. You are a blazing torch designed to guide others home. The darker the world becomes, the more your shine will matter. And heaven has decreed, your fire will not go out. Chosen one. With every treasure entrusted to you comes a holy responsibility. The oil poured over your life is precious, and not every hand is permitted to touch it. Heaven has guarded you through trials, so that the treasure within you would not be wasted or spoiled. Now, as your season of reward unfolds, you must learn to guard the treasure. According to the wisdom of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23, Abu Ve'alels, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Oh, this is not simply about protecting emotions, it is about preserving the wellspring of your destiny. The anointing on your life is like oil in a vessel. If left uncovered, it can be stolen or polluted. If poured out carelessly, it can be wasted. But if guarded with discernment, it will continue to flow, nourishing not only you, but also those assigned to you. There was a young believer named Naomi. She discovered her gift of intercession early in life. Every time she prayed, people testified that burdens lifted, peace entered, and healing came. Yet Naomi noticed that when she shared too much of her intimate encounters with people who did not value them, her joy would be drained. She realized that her treasure was not meant for careless display. It was sacred. When she began to guard her heart, steward her time with God, and share only under the Spirit's leading, her anointing grew stronger. What once left her exhausted, now left her radiant. Chosen one. The same principle applies to you. Not everyone who admires you is safe. Not every ear that asks to hear your story is pure. Not every opportunity is meant to be seized. The treasure inside you is too valuable to be cast before those who would trample it. This is why discernment is vital. Think of a pearl diver. He spends hours in the deep, risking his life to bring up a single pearl. That pearl, once discovered, is guarded with utmost care. No one in their right mind would leave it lying on the ground, exposed to the careless. In the same way, your journey has been costly. The treasure you now hold was purchased with nights of weeping, years of waiting, and battles unseen. Do not handle it lightly. The story of King Hezekiah offers a warning. When foreign envoys came to visit, he proudly showed them all the treasures of his house, the gold, the silver, the sacred vessels. But what he revealed carelessly was later carried off by the enemy. The lesson is clear. What is sacred must not be flaunted for approval. Guard your treasure. For not all who look admire with pure intentions. Guarding your treasure also means guarding your atmosphere. If oil is to flow freely, the vessel must remain pure. You cannot allow bitterness, offense, or distraction to pollute the anointing. Every choice you make is either preserving or polluting the flow. This is why some doors had to close, why certain people could not remain, why some opportunities never opened. Heaven was protecting your oil. Imagine a jar of costly perfume, sealed tightly. Its fragrance is meant to be released at the right time, in the right place. If broken too soon, it is wasted. If kept too long, it is stagnant. But in God's timing, when poured on the right head, the perfume fills the room with glory. That is your calling. Guard the treasure. Wait for his moment, and then release it with purpose. Chosen one, your oil is not common. It carries healing for others, strength for nations, and light for darkened hearts. That is why the testing was severe, because what you carry is rare. The enemy would love to dilute it with compromise or scatter it through carelessness. But you will not let that happen. You have endured too much to hand over what is holy. So now, walk with discernment. Guard your heart. Guard your atmosphere. Guard your time with the Lord. Speak only what is given. Release only what is appointed. Pour only where the Spirit leads. In doing so, your treasure will not diminish. It will multiply. Chosen one. This treasure is the evidence that you are chosen. Treat it as holy, for that is what it is. Remember, guarding does not mean hiding forever. It means waiting for the right moment. Oil that is sealed too tightly never blesses. But oil poured without wisdom is wasted. The Spirit will teach you when to protect and when to pour, when to hold back and when to release. Chosen one, let this wisdom steady you. What you guard today will anoint nations tomorrow. What you protect in secret will be revealed in glory at the appointed time. Your treasure is holy, and heaven trusts you to keep it safe until it is fully unveiled. Chosen one, a mantle is resting on your shoulders. You may not feel its weight yet, but heaven has already placed it upon you. It is the mantle of leadership, not leadership for applause or status, but leadership born of service, humility, and sacrifice. This mantle is a sign that you have been entrusted, not just blessed. Think of Elisha standing before Elijah as the prophet was taken into heaven. The cloak fell, and with trembling hands, Elisha picked it up. In that moment, everything changed. He was no longer simply a follower. He became a carrier of responsibility, authority, and power. This same mantle has now fallen upon you. The second book of Kings, chapter 2, verse 13, records this pivotal scene. Elisha picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. It was a simple act, but it marked the beginning of a new chapter. To carry the mantle is to accept both weight and wonder. You will perform miracles, yes, but you will also walk in greater accountability. The mantle is not decoration, it is destiny. There was once a young woman named Esther, not the queen from long ago, but a modern chosen one. She led quietly in her community, mentoring younger women, guiding them through trials she herself had endured. She never asked for a title, never sought recognition, but one day, when crisis struck, the same community turned to her for direction. She realized that her years of pain had prepared her voice. The mantle was not given by people, it was recognized by them. She had been carrying it all along. Chosen one. This is you. Leadership is not about being the loudest. It is about carrying the invisible weight of responsibility when others turn away. It is about being willing to pray when no one notices, to speak truth when it costs, to stand firm when others fall back. That is the essence of the mantle you now carry. But here is the beauty of this moment. To carry the mantle is not to walk alone, it is to walk as part of a larger story. Imagine a relay race. One runner sprints with all their strength. Then, at the perfect moment, passes the baton to the next. The race is not about one runner alone. It is about the chain, the continuity, the story that stretches across generations. That is what the mantle represents. You are part of something eternal, handed down, carried forward, never broken. And this, chosen one, is where your response matters, not as duty, but as devotion. When you do not see it as pressing a button, see it as placing your hand firmly on the mantle, saying, "Yes, I carry this forward." Oh, when you share, do not see it as routine, see it as passing the mantle to another runner in the race. Your act of sharing is not loss, it is multiplication. You are extending the flame, the cloak, the legacy into hands that will need it. And when you subscribe, imagine yourself stepping fully into the circle of mantle bearers, choosing not to stand on the sidelines, but to run your part of the race. Subscribe not as obligation, it is saying, "Count me in. I will not drop what has been placed in my hands." Finally, let your heart respond in words. In the comments, write, "I will carry it." 4 simple words. But they are covenant words. By declaring them, you are not only agreeing with this message, you are aligning with heaven's mantle on your life. You are saying, "I will not run from it. I will not hide from it. I will not let it fall. I will carry what has been entrusted to me." Chosen one. You are a forerunner. Your mantle is not small. Your role is not light. It is weighty. It is holy. It is beautiful. And as you carry it, others will rise. Your mantle is not just about you, it is about those who will find courage in your example. So, walk with confidence. Mantle bearer, heaven has trusted you, and the race is waiting for your step. Chosen one. Feel the cloak upon your shoulders. It is not heavy to crush you. It is heavy to remind you that your life carries weight. You are not drifting without purpose. You are running with a mantle that heaven itself designed. And as you run, remember this: every step you take is not just for you, but for those who will come after. Carry the mantle boldly, for it will become the testimony that lights their path. Chosen one. Can you hear it? The sound of recognition resounding in the unseen realm. Heaven is not silent about what you have endured. The angels who witnessed your tears now stand in celebration. The cloud of witnesses, those who ran before you, Lean forward in eager applause. You are entering your heavenly recognition ceremony, not in the distant future, but in the spiritual reality unfolding around you, even now. It may not look like a grand hall on earth, but in the heavens, it is. Trumpets sound, banners wave, and your name is spoken with honor. Every unseen battle you fought, every hidden act of obedience, every choice to stand when it would have been easier to fall, these are not forgotten. They are announced. The Book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 5, records this profound promise. The one who is victorious will be dressed in white. I will never blot out their name from the book of life, but acknowledge them before my Father. This is your moment of acknowledgement. The King himself speaks your name before the Father and before the angels. You are no longer only one who has endured, you are one who is celebrated. Think of a soldier returning from battle. He does not march back quietly into the shadows. The city gathers. Trumpets blare, and the king crowns him with honor. He is no longer the weary fighter. He is the victorious warrior. This image is a reflection of your spiritual reality. Heaven does not let victories pass unnoticed. There was once a man named Marcus, a quiet believer who served faithfully in his small community. For years, no one praised him. He worked behind the scenes, setting up chairs, cleaning floors, praying when others slept. He felt invisible, yet when he passed into eternity, testimonies erupted. People stood one after another, declaring how Marcus's hidden life had impacted them. His recognition ceremony had been happening all along. Heaven had seen it, even when earth had not. Chosen one. Your life carries the same weight. You may feel overlooked by men, but heaven has been writing every act in its records. What you have done in secret is being proclaimed in glory. You are being crowned, not with fleeting praise, but with eternal honor. Imagine a great hall filled with light, a throne at its center, a crown on a golden table, and multitudes gathered in awe. Then the king rises, calls your name, and places the crown upon your head. The sound of applause shakes the heavens. That is your recognition ceremony. It is not a dream, it is a destiny. But remember, this recognition is not for boasting, it is for commissioning. To be recognized is to be entrusted. To be crowned is to be sent. Your honor is not the end, it is the beginning of new assignments, new responsibilities, new dimensions of influence. Heaven recognizes you not only for surviving, but for being ready to lead, to guide, to shine. Chosen one. Your scars are no longer marks of pain, they are medals of honor. Each wound has been transformed into testimony. Each loss has become a badge of resilience. You walk into this recognition, not empty, but carrying treasures that only endurance could produce. Think of Jesus himself. After the cross came the resurrection, and after the resurrection came the ascension. He entered heaven, and the angels rejoiced. Philippians says, he was given the name above every name. His suffering did not diminish him, it magnified him. In the same way, your ceremony is not the erasing of your trials, but the magnification of your victory. Chosen one. Let this truth steady your heart. You have not been forgotten. You have not endured in vain. The applause of heaven is louder than the whispers of doubt. And as you walk forward, know this, your recognition is secure. Your name is acknowledged, and your crown is prepared. You are not invisible. You are celebrated. You are not overlooked. You are honored. The heavenly recognition ceremony has begun, and all creation bears witness to it. Chosen one, heaven is not silent about you. Angels rejoice. Witnesses applaud. And the King himself speaks your name. Every hidden battle and secret prayer is now being announced in glory. What felt unseen has always been recorded, and the crown prepared for you is placed with honor. Your recognition is not for boasting, but for commissioning. The scars you carry are no longer wounds, but medals. This ceremony is not an ending, it is the unveiling of your authority, your testimony, and your assignment. Heaven celebrates you because you are ready to walk in all that was promised. Chosen one, the journey has brought you here to the place where destiny is no longer a distant promise, but a present reality. You are stepping now into unstoppable power, not the power of this world that fades, corrupts, and deceives, but the unshakable authority of heaven that flows through those who have endured. You did not arrive here by accident. Every test, every tear, every silence, every battle carved the path beneath your feet. The Apostle Paul declared in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 37, "No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." End quote. More than conquerors, this is who you are now. To conquer is to survive, but to be more than a conqueror is to thrive, to turn battles into blessings, to make every loss serve your victory. You are not merely standing at the end of war, you are carrying spoils, treasures, testimonies. Think of Joshua leading Israel into the promised land. He had walked through 40 years of wilderness, endured rebellions, faced giants, and seen the unfaithfulness of men. Yet when the moment came, he did not just enter the land, he claimed it. The walls of Jericho fell at his command. His power was not his own, it was heaven's authority flowing through his obedience. This is the mantle now resting upon you. Chosen one, you are unstoppable because your strength is no longer rooted in you. It is rooted in the one who called you. The storms did not break you, they revealed the rock beneath your feet. The fire did not consume you, it revealed the flame within your spirit. The silence did not abandon you, it revealed the voice of God that never leaves. All that remains is an unshakable you, clothed in glory. There was a man named Adrian, a quiet servant of God in our time. He faced years of loss, his family abandoned him, his health faltered, and his dreams seemed crushed. Yet in the ashes, Adrian discovered a deeper power. He began to minister to others from his pain, and miracles followed. The sick were healed when he prayed. The broken were restored when he spoke. People asked him, "How do you carry such authority?" Adrian would answer simply, "Because I lost everything and discovered he is enough." His unstoppable power was born from surrender. So it is with you. The authority you carry now is not arrogance, it is brokenness transformed into boldness. It is the realization that no weapon formed against you can prosper. No scheme of darkness can undo your destiny. No voice of accusation can erase your name from heaven's book. You are not merely enduring anymore, you are reigning. Picture a lion standing on the mountain at dawn. The storm has passed. The night has ended. And the lion's roar echoes through the valleys. No predator there is approach. No rival. There is challenge. That lion is you. The roar you release is not just for yourself, it is for territories, for generations, for those who will hear and find courage. And yet, unstoppable power is not reckless. It is not about crushing others, it is about lifting them. The strength you now walk in is the kind that carries others into freedom. It is the power to heal, to encourage, to ignite faith in weary souls. Your story is no longer only yours, it becomes a torch for others. Chosen one. Embrace this truth. You are stepping into the fullness of destiny. The crown is on your head. The mantle is on your shoulders. The recognition has been given. And now, the authority is flowing. You are no longer waiting, you are walking. Let your steps be firm. Let your voice be clear. Let your spirit be bold. For nothing can stop what God has begun in you. The trials shaped you. The wilderness prepared you. The silence deepened you. And the fire refined you. Now, the reward is here, not only blessing, but destiny fulfilled. You are unstoppable. You are unshakable. You are chosen for this exact moment in history. And your story has only just begun. Chosen one. You stand now, not as one who barely survived, but as one crowned with unstoppable power. The storms revealed your foundation. The fire revealed your flame. And the silence revealed your unbroken connection to heaven. You are not waiting for destiny, you are walking in it. This power is not arrogance, but authority born of surrender. Like a lion roaring at dawn, your presence carries weight that darkness cannot resist. You are not only free, you are a carrier of freedom for others. You are unshakable, chosen, and unstoppable. Your story has only just begun. Chosen one. We have reached the end of this journey together, but your journey is only beginning. Every word you have heard, every image that has unfolded, was not coincidence. It was heaven's reminder that you have passed the test. You have endured the refining, and you are now standing in the place of reward. The story of your pain has become the prophecy of your purpose. The oil is on your head. The mantle rests on your shoulders, and the crown is prepared. You are not the same as when you began. You are stronger, sharper, brighter. What once looked like loss has become the soil of your testimony. You carry now not only survival, but destiny. And as this message closes, I want you to feel the weight of choice. Imagine a torch in your hand, burning bright. You could set it down quietly and walk away. Or you could lift it high so that others in darkness may find their way. That is what happens when you share this message. It is not routine. It is passing the torch. Imagine also your voice echoing in a great hall. One small yes becomes part of a chorus that shakes the walls. That is what happens when you like this word. It is your agreement, your note in the symphony of faith. When you subscribe, do not see it as a button. See it as sitting down at a long table, joining a family of chosen ones who are walking the same road. It is warmth. It is belonging. It is commitment to stay near the fire. And finally, let your declaration seal this moment. In the comments, write, "I choose my crown." 4 words, but eternal in weight. It is the response of a heart that has endured, believed, and overcome. Chosen one. You are not at the end. You are at the threshold of glory. Step forward with courage, for heaven is with you, and nothing will ever stop the fire you carry.